Hello, learners, and welcome to another week at CPDLF. This is U.S. History Foundations to Reconstruction, and this week we're going to complete Units 2.7 and 2.8. Unit 2.7 is Revolutionary War, War in the South and West, and Unit 2.8 is the quiz on the Revolutionary War. Okay, so when you look at Unit 2.7, you'll go through and it's going to talk about George Washington and the Valley Forge, and it's going to, continue with the different battles and different commanders, and you'll see different maps as you go through to better understand the Revolutionary War, and you'll just work your way through, and then you'll go to the War in the West. So there's a lot of really good information in here, and I like how it's presented. It talks about the Navy, the Battle of Yorktown, a little bit about Benedict Arnold, Nathan Hale. So there, like I said, there's a lot of really good information in here, and it's laid out pretty well so that you should understand it. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to me. Make sure you do have your notes. Make sure you've printed whatever you need, because you are going to take the quiz, quiz 2.8, the Revolutionary War, and you'll go through and it'll talk about, different battles, different quotes, the importance of the different battles and, loyalists and sort of their views. So like I said, make sure that you have some good information here, some advantages of both sides, some disadvantages, Cornwallis, him surrendering, talks about Nathan Hale. So just make sure you go through, like I said, and you know your information before you go to take the quiz. And if you're not happy with the 2 grades, reach out to me and I will be more than happy to reset it for you after you go back through and study, take notes. Okay, so today I was able to find a little bit of the history of us. I told you guys I really liked this series, and I was able to show you guys. Okay, I think we're back on track. A little technical difficulty here, but I was able to find this, so I want to show this to you guys.
We wouldn't be here without the Revolutionary War, and I've gone back recently in my own personal readings to try to understand more about that, how brave they were, and they were not just brave in a military sense, they were intellectually brave.
The people who were in the forefront of the revolution were people engaged in commerce because they felt most specifically and directly British interference, British taxation and limitations.
It's very interesting to think about the foundation of the nation and the fact that the country was born out of revolution, and that sort of rallying spirit of win, win, win and fight back the oppressors persists.
We were effectively guerrilla fighters. We were not the Redcoats, after all.
2 things. Number 1, memo to the British forces, ixnay on the red suits. That was probably not tactically the best move. Number 2, if you're going up against guys who are using blankets for shoes in the middle of winter, bring your best game, because they'll open a can of early American whoop-ass on you.
The American Revolution, in one sense, is an example of a war in which the weaker contestant prevails because it is more determined to persevere.
It's almost a little man syndrome. We've always felt a little undersized, a little underappreciated, and I think whenever you're able to take those feelings and manifest them to try to do something that's positive, to try to do something that's competitive, you give yourself a lot better chance of being successful.
The British Army was fighting for a king. The Americans were fighting for their lives. And it's not so much how much equipment you have or much training you have, it's what's in your belly, it's what's in your heart. And you're fighting for your lives in a way of life, as opposed to fighting for a monarch who you may not care about or may not love, but it's your job. That's all the difference. You're going to fight harder if you're fighting for your own way of life, you're fighting for your family.
Back then, during the Revolutionary War, what really made the difference is they really believed in what they were fighting for. That's why the Americans actually had the advantage. This is a case of hanging on in the face of the British actions long enough
to where the British literally would grow weary of this and realize that it was endless, they could not prevail.
In the last analysis, the British were willing to cut a deal with the Americans in order to make sure that they could preserve their power in Europe.
Any American who wants to know what it takes to be free should study the Revolutionary War.
Okay, so I hope you liked the little video clip, and like I said, somewhere out there is probably the entire video series of the history of us. Like I said, I bought it. I think it was on Amazon. It used to run on the History Channel a lot, but now I think they want people to buy it. I don't know if it's available on Netflix or not. I have not checked, or any of the Amazon or anything like that, to actually just view and not buy. So anyway, just throwing that out there. Like I said, make sure you complete units 2.7, 2.8. And if you ever have any questions, please reach out to me. Need anything reset, send me a hangout, send me an email, and you guys have a wonderful week. Thanks. Bye.